Your host, Silly Kelly. Yeah, and tonight, this is the Cal Cat Show Season 8 finale. The New Year's special. Didn't think we were going to do it, but it's not going to be many jokes or anything. We're just going to do just a recap, I guess. Because it's, like 2009 and some of the other ones, it's just 2016. Here we have... we're going to start off, just to be morbid, the celebrity deaths of 2016. So the ones that impacted us more or less in some way. Okay, we got a guy named Pat Harrington Jr. who was on One Day at a Time. He was Schneider. He was very old though. He was. Well, this website that I'm looking at is NBC News. I'm just gonna click through this. Okay. Okay. Pat Harrington from One Day at a Time, the TV show that was one of the shows we watched when I was a kid. It was, he didn't have much of an impact, except that sort of Schneider voice has been used many times on the Cal Cat Show. And that's where it comes from. That guy, Pat Harrington. Here we have, the next one is David Bowie, who was 69. David Bowie was one of the creators of glam rock and the sort of punk glam rock era in the 80s. That spiky hair going everywhere, the blonde look, the sort of effeminate drag queen look. Yeah, so that's what he did, because it was the 80s. David Bowie is a popular glam rocker who did the spiky hair and the androgynous look before that was popular, made it popular. He was more popular with my older sisters and not with... he was okay, yeah. Ziggy Stardust, that kind of thing. The movie Labyrinth with him in it was an inspiration for some of the names of one name of one of the SAP people. Yes, Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman, who most famously did the character of Snape, Professor Snape, the sort of evil wizard teacher guy in Harry Potter, the Harry Potter series, and a number of other things too. He was in a Kevin Smith movie as an evil angel. Yeah, so this is similar to what's on my blog, but I'm just kind of going through it. Dan Haggerty, who played Grizzly Adams. That was back in the day. Glenn Frey of the Eagles. Glenn Frey from the Eagles. It was a 70s band. Yes, Hotel California. Yeah, that was on location. One of their songs. Yes. That was the Eagles. Let's see. There's a bunch of guys. Joe Escalade. He was one of the voices of Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny. There's an astronaut, Edgar Mitchell, and John Glenn, two astronauts from the moon missions. Vanity died. Who that is? It's funny. Vanity died. No. Oh, no. That was her name. No, that's not funny. Antonin Scalia, the judge, Supreme Court Justice. Let's see. The old guy from Punky Brewster, George Gaynims, who was that was a popular show I used to watch as a kid, Punky Brewster. Let's see. That show was funny because like Punky was clearly not pubescent anymore, and she was growing enormous boobs, and they had to like tie him up or reduce him or something. They should have just said she was older. And then there's Nancy Reagan. Nancy Reagan died. Her husband Ronald Reagan had died a couple of years ago of Alzheimer's related causes. She was arguably the first female president, because in the last 2 years of his term, Ronald Reagan wasn't running the country. Somebody else was. It was probably Nancy and George Bush the elder. She did the Just Say No campaign, which didn't work, and among other things. She was far more conservative and also progressive than they will admit on some of the Fox channels and stuff. And also, Yeah, neither of them were saints, but they treat them that way years later. Let's see, George Martin. Yes. The other Keith Emerson of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Keith Emerson of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, also a 60s and 70s band. And Frank Sinatra Jr., Frank Sinatra's son, died. Gary Marshall died. It's not on. This is on there later, but Gary Marshall was one of the guys who did Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days and all that. Big TV producer guy. Gary Shandling died. He wasn't that old, was he? Huh. He was a comedian. Yeah. Gary Shandling. Florence Henderson, who was the mother on the pivotal TV show The Brady Bunch, which when it aired wasn't popular and it got canceled, but it went into syndication and it played all the time. So by the time I was a little kid, I grew up on The Brady Bunch, and it was on all the time. So it sparked some TV movies and a spin-off, and then eventually theatrical films in the 90s. And a cartoon in the 70s and 80s. But yeah, so that was... In China, the wrestler died. China, the wrestler, yeah. She was a popular WWE character for being a female wrestler as well. Let's see. I've already gone over this guy quite a bit, but I'm going to go over it again, just a little bit here. Prince, and the artist formerly known as Prince, and the symbol that was Prince. Prince, the Purple Rain guy. As it says on my blog as well, Prince was actually one of the characters that I actually encountered. There was a concert in the 1990s in which Mark's Cards and I went to that concert, and when we kind of got in the back, well, we did pay for it, but we pretended we got in the back, and we went in and we saw the Prince people and afterward. But here is Prince. Yes, he was the artist formerly known as Prince in the 1990s, so it had this symbol. It was at San Jose State, and there was a big symbol. It's a big deal. And it was cool. So yeah, Purple Rain guy. Purple Rain is one. The plot of Purple Rain has been copied many, many times up to the present in other movies. Muhammad Ali died. He was a boxer, famous boxer, the greatest. Who's that guy? And then we come to Anton Yelchin, who was 27 when he died. He was the character Chekhov in the new reboot of Star Trek. He died in a freak automobile accident. Actually, he wasn't actually in the car. He was apparently pinned behind it when the car backed up in his driveway and smashed him in the gate. It's too bad there weren't any people around in his posh estate when that happened. Could have rescued him. Or at least done something. Maybe. But yeah, hindsight is 20/20. But that sucks. And so they had to give his... character and beyond dedication and all that. Yeah. Leonard Nimoy was last year, and so was Robin Williams. Let's see. And toward the end of the year, we come to Scotty Moore, Pat Summers. There's a lot of people in this here list. There's a lot of people. They go on through the list. There's Gary Marshall, who I mentioned, TV personality. Miss Chloe died. Miss Chloe was this infamous televangelist lady that would come on, and she had like this tanned skin, and she would do this weird like Swami thing that was like something out of like a sketch or something. But no, she was trying to buy money for her. She was sort of like Sylvia Browne. You'd dial her number, and she would give you like the future. I wonder, Miss Chloe died. I wonder if she saw it coming. She was old though. That was in the 80s. The guy that played Admiral Ross on Star Trek was Barry Jenner. He died. He was the guy from D6-9. Kenny Baker from Star Wars. He was a little guy inside R2-D2. He was in his 80s. 81. Yeah. And I met him one time at a convention where it was bizarre because going into the bathrooms, coming out, not bathrooms. The guy, Arnold Palmer, Zaza Gabor died. Zaza Gabor was 99. Same age as that my grandmother was when she died. She was 99, and she was a really bizarre lady. Yeah, really famous for, I don't think, Moulin Rouge and stuff. Moulin Rouge, that was it. Yes, old stuff like 70 years ago. And Gene Wilder died. He was the guy from many, many comedies in the 70s and 80s, including in movies, including Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, that version. Blazing Saddles, Silver Streak, often alongside Richard Pryor, sometimes not. Yeah, so Gene Wilder. He was actually pretty old. Yeah, 80. What was it, 83? Yeah, 83. So, yeah, he was getting up there. Alan Thicke died. He was the father of Robin Thicke, but Alan Thicke was the playboy, and his son is not so much. But yeah, Robin Thicke was the original playboy. Well, he was pretty long in the tooth too. Yeah, 69. Let's seen China twice. There's Zaza again. George Michael died. Another musical icon, George Michael, who in the 80s did the effeminate spiky hair rock thing too, and being both homophobic and having the gaydar, the ability to detect also the thing. All the girls at school would go like, "Oh, George Michael's the straightest, awesome man ever. Has such feeling and emotion." And we're all, "No, he's gay." No, he's gay. It turns out he's bi, but yeah, it turned out he doesn't like girls. But he was doing a very good job trying to convince people that he liked for a while, in the videos at least. But there's nothing wrong with that in 2016. Anyway, he was 53. Yeah, he would have been younger than Michael Jackson. So yeah, Boy George Michael Jackson together makes really. Yeah, Boy George, I think, is still alive. I'm not sure. Rich Adams. Barbara Turbach also was in Star Trek. And then we come to Carrie Fisher, who was, of course, Princess Leia from Star Wars in episodes 4, 5, and 6, and also in Rogue One in a cameo, and she is going to be in episode 8 posthumously because they finished filming her scenes. I know that for sure. Finished filming her scenes, and they're apparently going to flash back to Han Solo's funeral, but other than that, can't say. But from what I've read, that's what the rumor is. And she died. I'm not being chuckly. I'm just saying she died at 60 of a massive heart attack on a plane from a plane to London to L.A. Somebody dies of a heart attack on a plane. You kind of can't do anything about it. Originally, they said, "Oh, it was a bad condition, stable condition, whatever." But what they meant was they stabilized the bad condition, but she was already gone. They got her to the medical center. She was dead. But yeah, so even Kevin Smith made a touching elegy thing. He hasn't discussed it on his life blog yet, but just on the collection, the little movie vignette thing. 2 days later, Debbie Reynolds died, and she is actually the 80-something mother of Carrie Fisher. She died too, apparently. Yeah, these people were not that old. It's weird. Anyway, so that's kind of the end of the list of people that have died. What a morbid little video I made. But that's the people that have died. I guess I'll put that up separately. But yeah, yeah, I'll do an update. It's the 31st of December. It's New Year's Eve. There technically wasn't a season 8 of the Cal Cat Show. It was just update blogs because the show was officially ended, not really canceled, ended last November, technically. Not this November, but 2015, the Disney trip. But because the Disney trip was flagged off of one channel and put back on the other one with the music change, don't get the full effect. But it is there, and we do talk about it. That was November of 2015. It went on for a few more episodes until the New Year's, and then we had Mark's Cards here in the studio because it happened to land on a Thursday night. It won't land on a Thursday night for another 7 years, so 6 years now. But yeah, so yeah, there was a lot of other. I looked through a lot of the story things with the what we looked at updates before, saying all through the year we're going to bring out Chimera this year. We're going to do that because it's 50th anniversary. That didn't happen. It wasn't for our lack of trying. We actually did complete 15 minutes more footage and put it in the can, which means that we have 20 to go. 20, that's it. 20 pages, that's it. It'll be done. And we keep going into hiatus whenever something comes up that happens. Lately, it isn't something Calcat is doing. It's something Mars Cart's doing at work. And lately, Calcat has been doing other things, but he could totally stop and do Chimera at any point. Well, almost any point. So, but yeah, it wasn't ready yet. So, we wanted to make it the best possible ever thingy. And it's going to be out in not February. That's too soon. We were held back yet another month, so it's probably March at the earliest. At the latest, it'll be out when Discovery comes out in May of 2017. That may be on purpose. Who knows? Maybe mysteriously on purpose. Chimera A2405 on the blog site was discussing the Okudograms and things with some of the other blog site people, and revealed some of the names of, or at least some of the ideas of some of the cast members from the Chimera game from back in the day, who had been in Star Trek or associated with it. Set the record straight. I never worked on Star Trek. Mark's Cards never worked on Star Trek, but we did submit stories to Star Trek and to Paramount back in the day. Not Paramount, to Pocket Books back in the day. And Star Trek on their contests when they had writing contests. And they liked them. We didn't have agents, and they didn't feel that what we were doing with the characters was not quite what they wanted to do with the characters. We had a good grasp of it, but yeah, so we were not picked. However, we were looked at twice for Voyager. They picked the script and stamped it twice. It turns out that some of the people from the church, this church as well, it must be famous or something, did work on Star Trek. There was one in the choir that worked on Voyager and was one of the runners-up to play Harry Kim. And there was another one, Brian Story, who did a voice 10 years ago on the Chimera script, long before the story was even really done. And he did his lines about the Chimera script, and he got to do, yeah, he got to play the Kirk God. So his scene is still ready to go, but we're not there yet. It'll be the last 5 minutes of the movie. But yes, and he still approves, and he's still part of the game and the behind-the-scenes team designing starship locations. So, we'll see how that works out. That's a new game. There is a role-playing game. Don't get confused. There's a Star Trek role-playing game that just started. We might actually use some of that platform as a jumping point, just because it's already done. Somebody else did it. Like the game board or something they're using. Yeah, just to start off, we're going to play Star Trek, but we're going to play our own version. It's like back in the day with Silly Trek and Champions and stuff. But anyway, that's all we got so far on that. Well, that's going to be later, probably May. Nothing else going. But yes, I'm going to do the New Year's wall drop at about 9 here. Because in New York it'll be midnight. So that's what I'll do. That's what I usually do. So there's nothing really else that I can report from the SAP people. Also, there was some confusion as to... I was just going on about it. Teddy Ruxpin thing. I don't know. Maybe he'll be by later. Here we are. There's the Fox station playing the New Year's in New York. And here he is in the studio with the Cat show. And I don't care who these tookie looking guys are. But they're in there too. The chair. Oh shit. There we go. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm more center myself. Yeah. Alright. Guess what I'm doing is being Shubalaffa. Of course, he's white. He thinks he's white. He's like Eminem, basically. Well, this character is Creech from Ring, of course. And in Monster Trucks, Creech, the name, is featured as the character in the Monster Truck movie. So check that out next year in 2017. Because he's actually in the movie. It's awesome. So it's really, really nice. And here we have... I'm not really in the movie, but they called him Creech. So I was like, hey, Creech, that's a good idea. Creech and Crotch. Basically a Cheech and Chong character, kind of. But yeah, I'm looking at these tookie-looking guys on the screen. They got some other ones there. And they're not very interesting. Most of them are not interesting. Now, I've been looking on the Most Offensive Video website. Turns out they are a film threat. And also that they are not Key and Peele. Although the Key and Peele movie, Kino, they clearly watched it and like threw lines in there, including Tookie Looking. Including Shubalaffa. Which I think is okay, as long as the cat had the voice of Shubalaffa. Little cat is like running around. Because the little cat looks like Houdini, the mascot. Of course he does. Shit. When he was a kid. So, countdown to 2017. Shit. I'm going by New York standards. Even though I'm talking like I'm from Virginia or something. Maybe a little bit of Georgia thrown in here. Kind of southern white bread or something. Now. So, Shubalaffa tells you all about the things that go on New Year's around. Y'all, there was some lecturing, and now we have a game show host, as well as a contest, and we have a reality TV show producer that's going to be the president. That's real peculiar. Yeah, I don't know if that's such a good idea to make the White House a reality TV show. It already is. It's called House of Cards, which are based on something else. No, that's not a good idea. But Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. He won the Electoral College. Now we see what happened is the way the Electoral College works. Is it's appointed people are appointed to take the votes from the states. And then kind of tally them together and come up with it. And say, okay, I declare that my state officially, all of them, I'm voting for this guy. So technically, it's not a democracy. It's a constitutional republic. So yeah, if it was a true democracy, the popular vote would win all the time. But no, it is, and it's also an autocracy. And the Republicans are trying to make it, or at least some of the Republicans, are trying to make it like Ayn Rand, who was a 50s era sort of robber baron train person. About train. Well, and they're not going to make it like that. They want the fantasy of the 50s without actually having the 50s. And believe me, you don't want to be in the 50s. And I was watching, there's a movie coming out, which I guess I might review because it might be funny, Hidden Figures, in which they're showing what it was like in the 60s during the NASA thing. And I'm thinking, like, every time they smart off to somebody in that movie, in the 60s, not now in 2016, they would get their ass fired. I'm going to smart off to the boss, I'm going to smart off to the policeman, I'm going to smart off to everybody, because I'm a 90s woman, or 2000s woman. No, they didn't do that back then. You know, And I'm not gonna make some, stereotypical thing about Rosa Parks, and I'm not even gonna go there. Just go and read about the, how that works out, because I'm not gonna do that. I'm not actually an offensive racial stereotype. But yeah. So that's my political rant here on the New Year's Eve, and it is 11:40. 11:40. And now I'm going to turn some of our attention over for a moment or two to a very little character that decided to walk into the studio. Well, I put him down in the background. He wants to be on the films and stuff. No. What's this, a vibrator? Oh my god. It's a rebrometer. Oh yeah. Ooh yeah. Yes. Oh no. It's Teddy Ruxpin. Yeah, and I can do a Peter Griffin accent too, but that'd be kind of defeating the purpose of doing it, you know. And I sound like Rat Trap or Chuck E. Cheese or something, which would be funny. You know, Five Nights at Freddy's is just really hot. Oh, oh no. You know, I was thinking about space aliens. I was watching me some Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I was like, you know what would be funny? It's like if aliens came to Earth, you know, the first thing they would do, they wouldn't be like Carl Sagan and send us math and stuff. They would send us back to porn. So we'd have all this alien porn, but it would be weird. You know, tentacle beasts and stuff in it. And it would be porn in space. Hold on, my eye is stuck. Yeah. God, he looks fucked up. Oh, I'm not stoned. I just had major stroke. Oh, no, just kidding. Oh, he's not stoned. He just had a stroke. Cadabra. Hi, Cadabra. Hello, Boofy Dim Dim Lip This Slim McClills. Kitty Mew. Darly Arling. Can't see her, but Abra's in here. Hi, Abra. Hi, Kitty. There she is. There's Abra Kitty. Yes. Hi, Houdini. Hi, Kitty. Hi. Hi, Houdini. See the kitty. It's our version of Keanu. Hi, Kitty. My baby. My baby. Out. You are a German girl. Yes, I am the Sith Lord. I wish you a New Year's. No, I'm kidding. I'm Kitty the martial sportist Nomenfrey. Yes, and yes, Kitty the martial sportist. I'm watching the New Year's, and we are at 11 minutes and 46 seconds. And on the clock ticked unit 3. I see the gloriousness of the New Year's clicking down on the timer. And we don't care what this... No, but you see, the thing is that when you have things, the impressions, yeah, you see, you know this thing to be true, that you have the impressions of girls, and no guy truly is in the league for the girl. You see, no guy is A type for the B type girl, which is very in Hollywood, which is weird anyway. You see, many of these A-list actresses will go out with a person who is not an A-list man, because it's very simple. You see, the girl is the movie star narcissist in general is not going to want a man who is as good as she is. So that alone says some things for the B-type men, you know. So yeah, go out and have some fun. I'm looking at some old dream journals and things. It's like You guys are just like a little too far back, and if the history, and you make the Star Treks, on occasions, but it's like 10 minutes to go, and so you don't need to do it. Just be yourselves and out there. You'll find somebody. Yeah, it's this. I do the accent. It's very cheesy. It's not even German really. But yes, the Marshall Sportist. Yes, Kitty. And I came to the studio because I wanted to be here on New Year's to ring in the New Year with obscure characters and references. And with just a few minutes to go, we must have in the studio everybody's favorite cowboy, because we got to a cowboy. So hold on, I got a cowboy riding the Hershey Highway. Yee-hoo! You can't hear on the regular channel. Let's see what we got here. 7 minutes to go. 7 minutes and 16 seconds until the end of the world. And there's a lady singing the things on the screen there. I don't know if she sung pretty or not. I'm not going to turn it on because I get flagged by YouTube. So, well, 2016's been a heck of a year, I think. Yeah, middle of America voted for a guy they don't realize ain't gonna do anything for them. We'll see. But there's a slobbering love affair with that boy. Slobbering love affair. They're gonna be, oh my God, the greatest ever. As deluded as they were with Bush Jr., thinking, oh, the greatest president ever. No, he won't really. He went us into some wars we shouldn't have done. Now, this guy is probably going to put us in some other wars we shouldn't be in. If the Democrats had just been a little more ballsy. Actually as ballsy as the Republicans claimed he was. Anyway, so here we are at 6 minutes to go. And, yep. There's only a cow poke. Poking cows. Poking cows. There we go. There we go. 5 minutes to go. Shit. And our lady's still a singing and a hooting and a hollering. Yep. I was doing some singing on the other channel where I was singing about booties and stuff. I didn't mean it though. 5 minutes to go. Anyway, so this here Clinic Capo. And yeah, Talking Pointless was quite popular. Well, not really. Actually, the movie version isn't watched hardly at all, but the election one's got a few hits. It's not really anything. I didn't get noticed by Fox. I think that was our idea intentionally. Was to have them put that on. Have the Fox people freak out and go, oh my God, this centrist guy, we got to put him on our show, and then I would suddenly become famous. But it didn't work. It didn't work because they knew better. This guy doesn't have any hits on his channel. So, and then YouTube went and changed the way the ratings are done, so now the fake ones kind of went away. The channel didn't have any fake ones anyways, but yeah, it made it worse. Now we're at 3 minutes and 53 seconds. In New York, watching the ball drop. I watched the ball drop. As you get older, they kind of hang down a little more. That's what I mean by the ball drop. When your balls hang low, do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie 'em in a knot? Can you tie 'em in a bow? When your balls hang low, wobble to and fro. Do your balls hang low? Hee-hee. Oh no. 3 minutes to go. Yeah. Eat it, New York City. Now earlier there was a feller on there looking at a bunch of like floats and stuff, and he was like, apparently didn't know it. He didn't know like the New York Dodgers originally, Brooklyn Dodgers, and what they were. He didn't know the Mets and what they were. Didn't know the Yankees and what they were. Well, he was English, but yeah. That's a peculiar sight. Now here we got the ball. It's all purty looking. They haven't cut to it, I noticed. And I got a minute to go here. I ain't been to Istanbul, so I don't know. But here we go. A minute to go here. And don't know nothing about bad guys and all that. Because Cowpoke's a good guy. Now, here we go to 1 minute and 24 seconds. That magical ball is descending 2017. Holy shit. Cal Cat Show is about to do business as it enters season 9. Holy shit. Yee-hoo! But yeah, we ended in season 7. And been doing season 8 with just well, we've been over on the review site doing that instead, and we've been just updating the channel every month or so. But yeah, we got a few episodes, and we re-released the other ones. We also got the Chimera one updated, and here we are, 41 seconds from the whole thing, and it's lovely and pretty. 'Cause when this is over, this is over. Yep, been a strange and screwed up year. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 11, 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and oh, there we go. Holy shit. Rider on the Hershey Trail. Ding, 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 right. Well, I can say that. It's not that dirty. Happy New Year. It's a trail. That's it. Yeah, it's a trail. It's where they ride. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's a riding trail. That's it. Yeah. Ooh, it's a joke anyway. But yeah. Let's have a dirty joke for the new year. Yeah? The video don't even have like 5 views anyway. Anyway, I'm gonna have to get over to the go here and do the real quick do the movie review results of the Claire Awards. Yep, I'm gonna have to do them too. Yeah, there we are. It is 2017, and I was singing about the riders on the trail. Yep, and there it is. Toshiba is a sponsor this year. That's also on the TV. Is it a coincidence? I think not. Okay, yep. Yeah, right. We're channels with the Toshiba. No, I don't think so. Well, Times Square in New York City. Get wrote New York City. I'm not waiting around till midnight to hear. That's crazy. Happy New Year. Happy New Year 2017. You bastards. Glorious bastards. There it is. Your moment of zen. Alright, so this is Silly Kelly, and this is the Clara Movie Awards, part of the portion of the thing, declaring that the Oscars don't matter because what matters is popular movies, fun movies, nothing boring or depressing. Well, there's at least one slightly depressing movie on the list. But here we have the nominees for Best of Everything. So, nominees for Best of Everything. And the nominees. I'm reading the list off here. Nominees. Pretend like I have like an envelope. The nominees are for Best Drama are Edge of 17, Snowden, Sully, Deepwater Horizon. The winner is Edge of 17. Because it was very reminiscent of the works of Hughes and Eckerling, and also was a millennial version of that, and parents of kids that are teenagers now, and the teenagers enjoyed it. So it should get better ratings than it's getting. It's actually one of the best movies of the year since Days a Week Ago. We have heard good things about Manchester by the Sea and Fences. However, they're both depressing movies. It's not likely I'm going to see either of them in the theaters. So they're not on the list. Sorry. Let's see, what else do we have? Best Comedy. The nominees are Keanu. What's that say? Hail Caesar, Sausage Party, Deadpool, and Barbershop the Next Cut. Although it was a dead heat for Barbershop the Next Cut, which had a message, in Deadpool. Deadpool wins for sheer alacrity of being sheer kinetic energy, funny thing. Yeah, Sausage Party is gross and offensive. That kind of funny. Henry did not like it, but anyway, so I liked it. So we couldn't give it an award. Okay. The nominees for Best Horror Movie are 10 Cloverfield Lane, Blair Witch 3, Midnight Special. The winner is 10 Cloverfield Lane. Also, Mark's Cards agreed with that. That's a good one. So, yeah. He did like the other two that came out, but they were not on here because I didn't see them. I guess The Witch was good. But The Krampus, I guess, was good too. I didn't see it either. Let's see. Not the other Krampus, but the other one. The current one. Let's see. Star Trek Beyond. Okay. Best Fantasy. Best Fantasy Movie. That goes for sci-fi as well. The nominees are Star Trek Beyond, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, Midnight Special, The Jungle Book, and Pete's Dragon. 2 Disney movies there. Now, already you know that we're gonna take the First Love, the idea of, we're gonna take the Star Trek movie if it comes out, even if it, so yeah, Star Trek Beyond wins. Rogue One was good, but it wasn't, it was a good fan film version of Star Wars. We liked it, but Mark's Cards and I, but Star Trek Beyond was more interesting and original and just had more going on that just made it more of the winner. Rogue One's close, so it's second. Now, fortunately with the Clara Awards, we kind of separate the genres a little bit, giving the superhero movies a chance to have another category. Best Action Movie. You can also win that. In the Best Action Movie category, we have Deadpool, Captain America Civil War, Doctor Strange, Hardcore Henry, which was that video game, first-person shooter game. Hard to watch. But yeah, pretty cool. And the winner is Doctor Strange. Also, Jim Takon agrees with that. Winner's Doctor Strange. So, you had a hint of that at the toy show. We go to win. Doctor Strange. Yes. Best Animated Feature Film. This was not even a contest. This movie should get Best Picture of the Year. But yeah, I will read them all anyway. Here. The Zootopia, Finding Dory, Moana, Secret Life of Pets, Kung Fu Panda 3 from earlier in the year, and that's it. Now, although Kubo and the Two Strings is also there, but as Mark's Cards and I discussed Thursday, although those other movies are very good, Zootopia is just a few steps ahead of those other ones. Dory's a close second, so we knew Zootopia was going to win. Even Jim Takon, who doesn't really do that, knew it was going to win. And Zootopia is the winner. Yay! Okay, Zootopia is the winner. These awards don't go to anybody, incidentally. Here we have Next is honorable mentions. Honorable mentions include The Witch, 13 Hours, Magnificent Seven, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Out of the Shell. And the winner of the honorable mentions is Magnificent Seven. Yeah, it was already opened. Best visual effects for a movie. It was a tough one. Tough choice. Best visual effects. Doctor Strange for the enfolding cities. Rogue One for the final beachhead battle scene. Star Trek Beyond for the space station snow globe thing. Kubo and the Two Strings for anything that had to do with the animation, the giant creature, or whatever. And the winner is Doctor Strange, because that visuals in that are amazing. They even beat Inception, of which it borrows liberally from. So yeah, so Doctor Strange, and that is the Clara Awards winners of this year, none of which are being nominated for Oscars. None of them, with the possible exception of maybe special effects for Doctor Strange. Might get a maybe Zootopia might get a nod for animated feature. That would be awesome. But everybody else, they ignored them, all of them. So yeah, I'll when the Oscar thing comes around in late February, I will just pick the snarkiest movies possible and probably come up with a 90%. The ones that no one's seen. Like, yeah. Although Manchester by the Sea just went into wide release. Although it was playing for a long time. But that doesn't mean anything. Maybe, I don't know if anybody will see it. But Fences is based on a play. It's got Denzel in it. Denzel Washington. But yes, last year they totally snubbed the African American set. Completely snubbed them. Yeah, and this year they're trying to make up for it by making a bunch of movies to have that, which is fine, but it's a little late. Hidden Figures is 2017. And yeah, Fences, if they just give it an award just because Washington's in it, that's not really, it's sort of like how they made that joke in Most Offensive Videos, Fat Albert Kwanzaa special 2 years ago. When they said that what's the difference between a silverback gorilla and the movie Precious? Well, people have paid good money to see the silverback gorilla. And it's like, yeah, there was a movie that got Oscars and a Best Actress award, and no one liked it. Literally. It was messed up. It was a messed up ass movie. It's like, I saw it, but, ew, man, I didn't want to review it. It's like, why did this get an Oscar? I can't think of half the movies that get an Oscar. There's a whole other friend, Tim, that Straight Outta Compton was good. It was. I didn't review that, but maybe later. Maybe not. From last year. That movie should have got Best Picture last year. But yeah. So anyway, so New Year's Eve. It wasn't much of a comedy show. It was more of a let's just kind of hang out and chill. Just chill. Whatever. We'll open with a reading of obituaries. It's like, oh, jeez. But yeah, strange New Year's comedy special. It's not really a comedy special. It's more like the 2003 one where they just talked. Told a few jokes. Read a Ben and the Raccoon book. What's Ben? They talked for a long time, though. That was a long audio tape. Anyway, so, yeah, we used to do the audio tapes. We were, child stars. Radio. Yeah, radio stars. Yeah, so when we actually went to video with some of our stuff, we weren't as funny. Yeah. In our own area, we were child stars. But yeah, sketches and stuff. The Calicat show was pretty much the genesis of that, and the review show. It's fun that we get to do the reviews and stuff, and YouTube still doesn't charge us. And also our channels are all with no AdSense, so we can't actually make revenue on YouTube videos. But if we did, we'd be making some on the video channel. And apparently people have been watching our Star Trek reviews, some of our toy reviews. But with a little confusion. They've been watching Discovery stuff and taglines, and or Axanar or some other fan film like is reviewed, and they'll be like, "Oh, this guy knows something," and they go in there and they watch it. It's like, I didn't say I knew what's going on in Discovery. It's just the title says Star Trek Discovery News. I'm usually like 3 or 4 hours behind everyone else breaking news on Discovery. So the other shows. Yeah. You guys will be the first to know if I ever actually got a deal. And you'd totally see it too. The channel would suddenly be all cool, and there'd suddenly be a sponsor and a Patreon account. There'd be like ads all over the place, and it'd be like, "Oh, he sold out. The videos are now $1 million each." Nah. Yeah, we're one of the smaller channels, but we are still around. We have a 4th one, and there's other. Yeah, so here's the end of the season. And technically not the season. The Calicat show was over. So that's it. But the saga lives on in these sort of update blogs. Apparently there was some kind of a funky thing going on, but it didn't involve us. That's Donald Trump as a rooster. That's funny. Notice his freakishly small hands. And notice also, it's true. Look at that there thing. Well, the problem is either his collar or his stick. He was still some old prick. Dun, 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 dun. You're a cracker, Burner. You're a cracker. The Calicat is a cracker. What does that even mean? So if some black dude says to me, "I'm a cracker," I'd be like, "Okay, I was in Star Crackers. My soda crackers." No, I'm not most offensive video. Actually, what's funny is like they did that scene in not Rudolph, the sequel, where they showed them pooping on each other. It's really gross, to try to be as gross as possible. And Tim and Eric's Awesome Show ripped it off. It's like, oh God, no. But they stole it from other sources. Yeah, and then there's movie 34, which loathsome. Yes. Yeah, there was also a mention of Max Steel as a bad movie too, but I didn't really see it. If I did, it was forgettable. Yeah, so there's probably lots of stuff coming up. There's probably lots of movie review stuff coming up in 2017. So yeah, and maybe this year Star Trek Kaimara will be coming out in the middle of into spring, early summer, and yeah, so Jesse Waters is crashing off on the girls. Anyway, so yeah, there was really nothing, something that was nothing out there about having something to do with Beyond. We weren't involved. There was a contest to go on Beyond, also suggested by the one Voyager guy from the church, but we didn't end up not doing it, not entering it. Although one of the Mythbusters guys got to do it, which is cool. Yeah. And I don't think Creech is actually in Monster Trucks. I think it's just a name. Because I don't think he would. I mean, he would be famous then. Maybe we'll see. Yeah. And I don't necessarily think that was me as the crab in Moana. Although it certainly did sound like. But yeah. So look for more Calicat characters appearing in Disney movies. now that we have connections. Yeah. Well, yeah, my real name is in Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. So anyway, but it's not me. It's another guy with the same name. Yeah. So that's it. Then back to putting together books and stories and things like that. And Distant Destinies and Starcrackers. Two other things down the pipe coming out too. Definitely launching those others. They're the whole series is just going to go up as a series. So everybody can get book 1, 2, 3, and 4 all together. But that's a little later, and yeah. So. And next year will be no Baycon because they moved it. But it will be Silicon Valley Comic Con, which used to be Big Wow, and we will also be at Fanime 2017. So check that out. That'll be cool. We have not yet gotten our reservations. Yes, and at some point we'll have Tim in the studio, but we haven't done it yet. Hasn't happened. And there will be more Space Bridge for the Transformer channel, I'm sure. But just haven't come up with anything. We've got like an 8-minute short of the little PandaCon guy doing his voice. But it was just a short. It was a joke. We'll probably post that in the beginning of the year. Anyway, so that's the end of the whole thing. That's the show tonight. Yeah, so. But yeah, that's it. So, happy 2017 on the trail, Hershey. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to think that's a dirty joke, because it's not really. Happy New Year. And it's funny when they have these hosts on TV and they're like, yeah, came up with the hair. Yeah. Hold on a second. Fernandez. Oh yeah, as a baseball player, he died in a freak accident too. Let's see. This I just have a list. Janet Reno died. It's probably I could just run through a bunch of lists of really boring characters. There's Lawrence Henderson again. Fidel Castro. He was a dictator. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Okay, I've got 25 minutes of battery. I think what I'm going to do is charge it when it runs out. But there's a cat. There's a kitty. The edible cookies. Just kidding. Actually, there ain't gonna be no edible cookies in this one. Yeah. It's not Peter Griffin either. Yeah. Tingy. 11:30. Yep. So, less than 5 minutes. Well, over 5 minutes ago. Wait a minute. Yep. Cowpoke was going on about Cowpoke was there. Okay, I'm gonna point that over here. Okay. Of course, a hilarious screensaver in China. Yeah, for some reason they were playing this singer almost up until the thing came on. And, yeah. Tons of makeup on.